Darnold looks, fires inside, ball is caught, touchdown, Seahawks!
Second with an RBI double, and the Mariners have the lead.
2 sports, 2 teams, 1 podcast. Welcome to the 12th Inning Podcast. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the 6th episode of the 12th Inning Podcast. My name is Rich, joined here with my buddy Mitch, and it has certainly been a week in Seattle sports. We're going to, in this episode, go over everything with the Seahawks loss to the Bucs at home. We'll then take a look at the upcoming game versus the Jaguars, look at the power rankings, and then we'll switch gears into our Mariners portion and kind of go over everything that you've missed with the 3 ALDS games that have already passed, while looking ahead to the broader playoff picture and what we can expect from ALDS Game 4. So, Mitch, how are we feeling? Like I said, it's been up and down depending on who you're paying attention to more.
Oh my god, I've been paying attention to both, and it's been a roller coaster.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So,
my goodness.
Yeah, so unfortunately our Seahawks do take a loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mariners, on the other hand, have been doing up and down, but overall good. But we'll go into a little bit more detail about them here in a few minutes. But yeah, so lose to the Bucs. What's just kind of what's your first reaction really when, because you were watching this game live, weren't you?
Yes, I watched this game fully.
Mm-hmm.
First reaction is, guess the defense stayed home. Like, what the fuck?
And you know what's funny is, so I was listening back to our last episode, and we were talking about, the defense wasn't as bad and they were getting better, and that I said the words specifically that I expected this game to be a defensive slugfest. Boy, was I wrong.
Well, you weren't completely wrong. It sure was a slugfest. Just had it wrong on which side of the fucking ball.
Yeah, and I mean,
offensive slugfest like no other.
To give credit, I mean, we will go in depth in our thoughts with the defense. They had some good plays. The Bucs defense also was not great. We still scored 35 points on them. It was just not a good defensive showing all around, and both of these teams coming into it had pretty solid defenses. So even though one team came away with the win, of course, that's how football works unless you're the Cowboys and the Packers, both teams, I think, come away with similar lessons. Offense showed out when you needed them to. It's frustrating. It's as frustrating as it is a positive, where, like, yes, the offense showed up and that's fantastic, but when the offense shows up, the defense can't show up, and vice versa. Like, why can't we just have both?
Yeah, no, when I said I guess the defense just stayed home, I'm talking about both. Like, and I know I've talked to coworkers as well, and they're just like, well, both defenses were banged up. I mean, our defense was as banged up this time as they were in the win over the Saints or the Steelers, one of those two. Either way, they were just as banged up in this one as they were in the win. Yeah. So we don't really have an excuse. Sure, the Buccaneers, they definitely were banged up more than like they normally were, but at the same time, it was just both defenses just didn't show up for this game.
And the thing is using banged up as an excuse is valid for a lesser level of play. Like, yes, if your starters are not in there, no matter who you have going in, unless you have some generational talent at your second and third string, there's going to be a quality drop in play no matter what position. However, the important thing is, if you're going to blame being banged up, you also need to be acknowledge the fact that these guys are professionals. Your third string should be able to at least do something. But, just this team, if they're not firing on all cylinders, they're firing on no cylinders, it feels like. Even with a lot of your starters in there, just the holes, especially like in the secondary, you have nothing. I do have a point on the defense that I will save for a little later. Let's talk about the offense real quick, and then we'll get into our stars of the game, or of the week, I should say. The offense was incredible. They were amazing on all fronts. Rushing attack was somewhat there. At least I had to watch this game on highlights. I didn't have the opportunity to watch it live, unfortunately. But from the highlights, yeah, it seemed like K9 broke away for some tackles, made a case for, hey, stop talking about this Charbonnet guy. Like, he is a backup for a reason. K9 is kind of starting to, it seems like, hit his stride again, which is good. That's a positive thing to see, especially when you're going behind an O-line that has been as solid on certain portions as the Seahawks O-line. The running game is getting there, it seemed like. And against a stingy run defense, too, which I think I mentioned in the last episode, that the Bucs had one of the better run defenses in the league. But all of that is overshadowed by just Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is, like, maybe in the MVP conversation. Look, I expected good things from him, but I wasn't expecting that, and I certainly wasn't expecting what we saw on Sunday.
Yeah, watching the game live, K9 was also, he was just actually breaking for runs. Like, they got it together, like, after the first quarter, they were running against this defense, and I think I know the announcers mentioned it, I think they said that the Bucs going into this game were either the third or fourth in run defense.
Yeah.
I can't remember I know they're in the top 5. I can't remember if it was like third or fourth, but in run defense, and K9 said, fuck that.
Yeah, because I remember us looking at it, and looking at the side-by-side and them ranked in the league. And I was saying, like, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little worried about this Bucs team with this run game. And, I also thought it was going to be a defensive slugfest, so I just was wrong on all fronts about this game, apparently. I was right on the fact that it was going to be a damn good game, though, and I knew it was going to be. But, yeah.
Good
Sam
game,
Darnold,
sad loss.
Yeah, absolutely. I frankly, and maybe it's just a side effect of me not watching the game live, but after watching the highlights and reading some articles and listening to some podcasts and radio show moments, I came away with more positives than I did negatives, frankly. Because I think that's mainly due to the fact that the negatives are all kind of contained in one section of this game, which was the defense, the play calling too, which I'll go in depth in a little later. But yeah, I think because there were, the receivers were awesome again. The Arroyo, love that man. Sam Darnold looking like an MVP caliber. Yes, look, okay, I know that the last drive interception setup, like I get that. I'm going to say this here now. Sam Darnold did not lose you this game. Sam Darnold was just the reason this game ended. And there's a very, very distinct difference, I think. There shouldn't have been... If our defense had done what they needed to do and gotten at least maybe 1, maybe 2 stops, we're having an entirely different conversation about Sam Darnold being a hero. Like, oh, yeah, he threw an interception in garbage time. Here, they're probably not passing in that section so long as the defense does their fucking job. But when you're going to put it on the shoulders of your quarterback 100% of the time, nobody's perfect. Tom Brady would throw interceptions. Mahomes throws interceptions. Josh Allen throws interceptions. All these elite quarterbacks throw interceptions at inopportune moments. Shit happens. Now, granted, I will say, and let's acknowledge the fact that Sam Darnold said he was trying to throw the ball away. And you shouldn't be throwing the ball away at the ground in front of you where there's a defender. That's just a bad call. Let's not sugarcoat that. That's a really dumb call by Sam Darnold. If you're gonna throw that ball away, throw it to the sideline. Find a way to throw it to the sideline if you need to throw it away. I respect that he was trying to get rid of the ball. That is something that he had issues with prior. But if you're gonna throw it away, get rid of it nowhere near the defender. So really, really bad decision by Sam Darnold. But again, it shouldn't have been as crucial of a moment as it was, because your defense should be doing enough to put you in a better position to win at that point in the game. I still trust Sam Darnold in late inning, in late game drives. I still do trust him, but you put it on one guy, there's going to be a mistake that happens, no matter how good the guy is.
Yeah. It was a freak play. It bounced off the helmet right to the defender. It happens. Like, I can't blame Sam Darnold fully. Like, yeah, like you said, dumb to try to throw it away at the ground. Find a way to get it to the sideline instead if you're throwing the ball away. But, it is what it is. You're making a split-second decision, and shit happens.
Yeah, how about we move into our stars? Let's go into our stars of the week. So, who's your 3-star, or what group, if you will? What you got for your 3-star this week?
3-star, I am gonna give it to K9 and Charbonnet, kind of the run game entirely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give my 3-star to them. They got it together this week, and like I said earlier, they ran quite well. Well, it still wasn't amazing or anything. In my opinion, it was amazing considering this was the 3rd or 4th or whatever top 5 run defense that they were going against, and the last couple weeks when they're going against not a great run defense, they sucked. That's the nicest way to put it, is they sucked against defenses that weren't high up on run. They sucked against the Saints defense in run game. So the fact that they were able to come out and actually run against a good run defense, they get my 3-star.
To keep it a buck with you, we're ass. That's the rushing attack. So real quick, since you're highlighting the rushing, which I'll give a spoiler because you're honestly just going to make a lot of the same points I'm going to give. They're my 2-star. I'll go into my 3-star here in a second. If I had to guess, we're probably flipping 2 and 3 stars.
Probably.
So K9 had 10 rushing attempts for 86 yards, averaging 8.6 yards a carry, which is great. That's usually what I highlight is the struggle for this team, is the yards per carry is usually not that good. He had a 31-yard, 2 rushes for 20 yards. No touchdowns, unfortunately, but honestly, K9 doesn't get a lot of touchdowns. Zach Charbonnet is kind of your red zone within the 10 rusher. And he did fine as well. 9 for 36, 4 yards per carry. He did get 1 touchdown. His longest was for 8. So a very Zach Charbonnet stat line. Just for funsies, Jalen Milroe had 1 attempt for 0 yards and 1 fumble. So looking at the rushing attack as a whole, we had 20 attempts, 122 yards for 6.1 yards a carry. I'll take it. That's a much better rushing stat line than I think we've seen in weeks prior, and that's really important. That's really, really good to see. So that's a fair 1-star. Like I said, they would be, or 3-star, excuse me, they would be my 2-star of the week. Absolutely solid rushing attack this week for sure. Now, moving into my 3-star real quick, since we do actually differ, it's going to be Sam Darnold. I absolutely believe that Sam Darnold deserves to have his flowers. People are going to be praising Baker Mayfield for putting the Bucs on his back, and I think Sam Darnold deserves the same sort of flowers. Going over his stat line, he was 28 for 34 with 341 yards, y'all. 341 yards. This man had an 82% completion rate with an average of 10 yards per completion. 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Again, that interception is unfortunate. This dude was a 135 passer rating. That is elite stat lines, especially if you're doing that every single week, which this looks consistent. No, was he this good the last couple of weeks? No, but he has been slowly but surely building and getting better, that I believe that this is going to be consistently what we can expect to see from Sam Darnold, which is why I honestly don't think it's so crazy when you see people saying, Sam Darnold could be a dark horse MVP depending on where he takes the Seahawks. And I absolutely agree with that. Now, just for comparison's sake, looking at Baker Mayfield, he was 29 for 33. Again, Sam Darnold was 28 for 34. Literally like the exact same. Baker threw for 379. Sam Darnold threw for 341. Baker had an average of 11.48. Sam Darnold had an average of about 10. So Baker had 2 touchdowns and he got sacked. Sam Darnold didn't get sacked. Sam Darnold is elite. it's about time. It's about time we start saying it. It's about time we start hearing it. Throwing the ball around, getting it done, touchdowns, touchdown. Yes, an unfortunate interception, and he's gonna internalize that. I mean, I don't know if anybody saw the press conference, but he took full responsibility for that, and that just makes me love this man more. And I cannot wait to see more play from Sam Darnold.
Yeah, so you're right. We have it flipped. He is my 2-star, and only because since I did watch the full game live and everything, there were just little things that he did. The interception, shockingly, not actually one of them that I'm like, oh, that's why he's my 2-star. Was it a mistake? Yes. Was it a split-second decision mistake? 100%.
Yeah.
I dare anyone who's played football, last time they played football was in high school, to go out there as a quarterback and play against these elite guys, and you go make those split-second decisions. Took full responsibility for that mistake, and I think he's just going to get better as the season goes along, especially as this offensive line gets better too. One thing about the offensive line, though, Gray Zabel is the only rookie offensive lineman to not allow a single pressure. He has a 0.0% pressure rating right now, or allowed pressure rating right now for rookie offensive linemen.
Is Gray Zabel the best Seahawks draft pick in the last 5 years?
Probably.
It's him and JSN. I feel like oh my goodness, it's been insane.
But yeah, so my 2-star, Sam Darnold. Gray Zabel's kind of thrown in there a little bit as well, though. Just because he's keeping our quarterback upright.
Yep. So then I'll throw it back at you. What's your 1-star for this week?
My 1-star is going to be the 3 wide receivers we have, JSN, Cooper Kupp, and Torrey Horton. Not that they did bad or anything, just they did good. Again, there were also little things with them that they could have done better. But JSN, dude can block. He was blocking like crazy. Cooper Kupp, I don't know if it was in the highlights because again I watched the game live. You watched the highlights, but he didn't give up on the play where he actually got a first down. I think it was on a 3rd down, and Sam Darnold threw the ball and it ricocheted off of some defender's hands, and Cooper Kupp didn't give up on the play. He caught it. It was when they were at their end zone, when they were on the 1-yard line. Yeah. And Cooper Kupp went and got that first down and got them those 10 yards right there. Yeah. So Cooper Kupp doing amazing. Cooper
Kupp is washed, by the way, according to the national media.
Yeah, that sounds about right. They always say that about the older players, but yeah, he didn't give up on that play. So Cooper Kupp doing Cooper Kupp things that he used to do against us all the time, pissing me off, but now making me super happy.
Right.
And then Torrey fucking Horton, man, still coming through and just being, like
a dog.
Right now, like I know there's probably way better rookies out there because I only pay attention to the Seahawks 100%. But, like, Torrey Horton and Gray Zabel, I'm sorry, they're both, like, fighting for that Rookie of the Year award.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And they're not going to give it to Gray Zabel. It's not going to happen. No. It'll never happen, even if he goes the rest of the season never allowing a fucking pressure or a sack. They'll still be like, he's an offensive lineman. Fuck him.
Yeah, exactly.
But Torrey Horton will at least have a chance at them paying attention and potentially giving him Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are other better wide receivers, unfortunately, but Torrey Horton, man.
But just the receiving game as a whole, 341 yards of receiving on this in this game. Again, 28 receptions. That's good for over 12 yards per reception, which is really, really good. 4 touchdowns, again, like we mentioned with Sam Darnold having the 4 touchdowns. They had to come from somewhere. Longest of 53, that pass was gorgeous. And something that I think is underrated with this team is the yards after catch. JSN, he had 36 yards after catches. Cooper Kupp, he had 20 yards after catches. A.J. Barner, he had 24 yards after catches, which also A.J. Barner, by the way, checking in with 2 of the 4 touchdowns this week, which is awesome. Yeah, I mean, this team has a really, really good receiving core. We've got amazing wide receivers, both rookies and non-rookies. So the receiving absolutely deserves its flowers as a whole. But yeah, especially as you highlighted, JSN, Cooper Kupp, Horton, and I'm gonna highlight AJ Barner actually just as my 1 star. This dude is absolutely nuts. He could be a 2 or 3 star on any other given week, but there were just some things that I wanted to highlight above him. 7 receptions on or Yes, 7 receptions on 7 targets. Dude did not drop a single pass. Got 53 yards, like I mentioned, those 2 touchdowns. His longest reception was for 11 yards, so solid. And he managed 24 yards after the catch. AJ Barner, the chemistry that him and Sam Darnold are building is incredible. And he has started to blossom, I think, into a really, really valuable weapon that teams have to game plan for 100%. So, not too much to really spend on him, but AJ Barner, absolutely, I would say, is my 1 star. So, also a receiver, or a tight end, if you will. But I just wanted to give him his flowers and highlight him because he's really, really impressing me this year so far. So, Mitch, it's time. Our no star, our starless of the week. I think we can both agree. It's the defense. I think if you said anything else, you didn't watch this game. Look, okay, like I said, I watched the highlights. Okay, I was watching the not even just the condensed game, the highlights. All right, and you want to know what I said? I had one note about the defense. Defense is Swiss fucking cheese. That was my one note on the defense. The defense was awful. Like we've discussed on multiple occasions. This episode. Yes, a lot of it is the starters being out. That is a portion of it, absolutely. A portion of it is the people who are supposed to be in for your starters are not playing to what the fans and to what I would almost guarantee you Mike McDonald expects. Dude runs an elite defense. He's the type of person, which I will say him and Pete Carroll are similar in this way of like he's gonna put the guy in there that performs. But I'm also not going to blame just the defense. This defense needs to blitz more. Like you and I, we joke around when we're playing NCAA or we're playing Madden. I'm just like blitz, 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 blitz. That's the way we like to play in the video game. We both hate zone, like all that. There's a time and place for everything. But clearly a zone-heavy defense is not working for this defense. We're not getting any sort of pressure. Our secondary, at least where it stands right now, with a lot of our important key pieces in the secondary out, is not going to be able to do enough to contain the receiver threat. People know that we are made of holes when it comes to the secondary. We need to be getting more pressure. Yes, we did sack. We did sack Baker Mayfield once. That's great. It needs to happen more. The secondary needs to figure their shit out. Again, I think a lot of that will be helped when guys like Spoon come back and Love. When a lot of these guys come back, but we need to fix our rushing attack, and we need to blitz more. We need to have more aggressive pressure. We need to be getting into the backfield because if you can figure that out and still keep the secondary at least halfway decent, this team is one of the best defenses in the league. And they have been one of the best defenses in the league in the last couple of weeks. But we've been seeing holes in this defense for weeks now, and this game just ripped them wide open. And made it extremely obvious where a lot of these holes are. The secondary needs, or the defense as a whole, but the secondary needs work, and this team needs to start blitzing more, or I don't know you're going to start relying on Sam Darnold in the offense too much, and that's just a recipe for fucking disaster.
Yeah. So, oh boy,
Have at it, buddy.
Watching this game live was really hard because
I was going to say, let me interject with one other thing that really pissed me off before you get the opportunity to say it. This team does not know how to fucking tackle, and I'm over it. Now, I will give credit to Mike McDonald. He called that out directly on the Mike McDonald show on Seattle Sports Radio. He said, we are not tackling to where we need to be and to where these guys can be and to what we're practicing for. We are not executing as we should on the field. Great. Love to hear him say that. I need to see results at this point. This team's tackling was atrocious. It was especially bad in like the first half. Got better in the second half, but it still was not good. The tackling needs a ton of work.
Yeah. Like I said, watching this game live, it was hard to watch because while the Seahawks have not had, an amazing defense like the Legion of Boom, it's going to be hard to ever get back to what the Legion of Boom was. But we've always had at least a decent defense especially when it comes to the tackling. Like, we've always had at least a decent defense when it comes to that. So, just watching this game, it was really hard. Just literally seeing all these missed tackles, all these wide open wide receivers in the middle of the fucking field. Why are you letting Baker Mayfield? I said it in the last episode. Is not a slouch of a quarterback. He is a really good quarterback, and you're gonna give him wide open receivers right in the middle of the field where he can see the best? Like, what are you doing? And you brought it up, the zone defense. So, you had sent me the Mike McDonald show, which I was planning on watching anyway, and the reason I had also told you I watched it and I still have some hot takes on this game. One of my hot takes on it is Mike McDonald. I have one little issue with what he said and what I saw in this game. He said we don't call the same play no matter who's out there. We don't use, if Torrey Horton's out there because JSN isn't out there, well, we're going to call the same play that JSN would have done even though it's Torrey Horton. He said that they adjust and they go, no, we're going to call plays that are specifically meant for Torrey Horton, and if JSN isn't out there, those plays don't get called because they're specifically meant for when JSN is out there. That's great. Why does it seem like you're not transferring that to the defense, though? You're calling all this zone and everything. Clearly, who you have out... When you have Julian Love and Witherspoon out there, zone may work. It seems to work. You didn't have them for this game. Why are we calling so much zone for this game? So, it frustrated me a little bit when he's like, oh, we call plays based on who's out there. Except for when it's defense. Again, Julian Love and Witherspoon do zone very well. Clearly their backups do not. Why are we not calling more maybe man, or like you said, more blitzes? Man coverage blitzes. Like,
yeah,
that's
zone blitzes. If you really need to have a zone coverage, have some zone blitzes.
If you're going to do zone coverage, zone blitzes are the best way to do it. Honestly, you brought it up when we play college football. I call a lot of... I actually like calling zone blitzes in that game. I know it's, game versus real life, completely different. But if you're going to do zone, we need to do zone blitzes. Because, and I'm not saying every single play. Obviously, offenses are going to pick up on that. And we are getting deeper in the season. They're going to start reading you better. Zone have worked very well in the first couple games of the season. It's going to get less and less and less. And especially if you're having a quarterback like Baker Mayfield. He can read defenses. He's going to read those defenses. He's going to see where those holes are. And after the first quarter, he was consistently noticing, oh, they're leaving the middle of the field open. Let's call some plays where our receivers are kind of running on the edges, except my slot receiver. Have him run a slant right through the middle. Open, open, open. And it was very hard to watch that. Also, Kobe Bryant, what the fuck are you doing?
I was wondering when you were going to mention that.
But it was one play. Kobe Bryant did pretty well for the rest of the game, other than what the defense did by just letting the middle of the field be wide open.
Yeah.
Like, that was just, it was so frustrating. But my final say on it is, it was really hard to watch the defense just get shredded. I knew that Baker Mayfield was going to do well against them.
Right.
Like, our defense isn't quite where they need to be yet. And I knew, we talked about it. This was going to be a test for the defense. And they failed.
They failed. Absolutely.
They 100%
absolutely
failed.
The test.
The one... what I'm so mad about is I watched when they went up by a touchdown with 35 points.
Yeah.
And I saw that happen, and I had to put my phone down, and I had to go do something.
Yeah.
I come back, and all of a sudden the Buccaneers are in touchdown range. They're in the red zone all of a sudden. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
I didn't get to see what led up to it. It was apparently 2 plays that led up to it. And all of a sudden they're in the red zone, and I come back and I literally watch Baker Mayfield just throw it to the sideline and get a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like nothing. Like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And I was so upset. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You guys, mind you, I watched this game live, so I can tell you the defense made one stop.
Yeah.
They didn't let the Buccaneers score on one drive the whole game.
That is wholly unacceptable, especially for a defense of this caliber. That is absolutely unacceptable. It was not a complete game. Your defense let you down. You can only expect the offense to carry you so much. They tried. They tried their hardest, but the defense absolutely let you down. A lot to learn from for this game. I hope that this team, and I trust that they will, I hope that they take the time to really, start to hammer home some of the essentials, like fucking tackling. There's a way up from this loss. There's a way forward from this kind of loss, because again, there's a lot to love. There's a lot of examples of, hey, we can be one of these elite teams in the NFL. We can be one of these favorites in the NFC. You just need to work on some of those things. And so long as you do, this team can be dangerous. And we can look back at the end of the season and say, yeah, we lost to the Bucs, but that kind of turned us around. Now, I won't lie, I'm a little afraid of who we've got coming up with the Jaguars. But before we get into that, any final points you'd like to make about this Buccaneers game?
Just, I hope Mike McDonald also learns from this loss, and I think he will.
I think he will. Looking at his demeanor and his frustration on that Mike McDonald show, it looked like he was taking a lot of accountability for this loss, and that's good. That's what I want to see. I don't want him to be depressed, and I don't think he is, but I want to see us have a head coach who's not like, our defense just didn't have it today, like, we'll get him next time, darn shucks. Like, I appreciate seeing him take it hard and be frustrated with himself, not just his players, because yes, there's some frustration that goes there, but frustrated with himself and his calling. It shows promise for sure.
Yeah, like I said, that's pretty much it. It's just I hope he does learn from it. I think he will.
Moving on to the Jaguars game, we will be playing this. It's a 10 o'clock in the morning game. Hope you're ready to be up.
Oh boy.
I just want to real quick. So first off, did you watch the Monday Night Football game between the Chiefs and the Jaguars?
I did not.
Oh, you should have. Do you know who won?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Jaguars beat the Chiefs, which frankly, I don't think it's as scary as it might have been 3 years ago. But what they showed me, because I watched this game live because I was able to have it on while I was at work. What this game showed me is that the Jaguars are a good team. They are a good football team. I heavily underestimated them coming into this season. I did not believe in Trevor Lawrence. I thought at this point that he was, a barely average quarterback. And he's showing me otherwise, especially in that game against the Chiefs. He absolutely put the team on his back. They weren't able to do a lot of passing, but he was able to get a lot of work done with his legs. Especially that last touchdown, just resilient as hell, stumbling after getting tripped by his O-lineman and then still managing to somehow get into the end zone was incredible. Great work. So the Jaguars, I think, are going to be a tough matchup. Now looking at the side-by-side with where the Jaguars and the Seahawks rank among the league, the Seahawks are 5th in points per game with 29.2. The Jags are 9th with 25.4, so not too far of a difference there. The Seahawks are 8th with 252.2 passing yards per game. The Jaguars are 18th with 213.2. So not the greatest passing team. I do worry about that with our passing defense, like we've discussed. Now, rushing yards per game, Jaguars have us by a country mile. They are 5th in the league with 137 rushing yards per game. We're 17th with 113. So stopping the run game is going to be extremely important with this game. That also means containing Trevor Lawrence. Trust me, the dude can use his legs. If he's playing confident, if he knows that if he's walking that walk, talking that talk, dude is dangerous, especially when it comes to his ground game. Now, we do have more sacks than the Jags do, with 13 versus 7. We're ranked 12th in the league for that, actually. Now, the Jaguars have the most interceptions so far this season. They are actually ranked 1st in the league with 10 interceptions. We have 7, so we're 3rd in the league. But what this tells me is ball security is going to be extremely important. These guys know how to get interceptions, and I don't think Sam Darnold, I wouldn't label him as interception prone, but keeping the ball secure is going to be extremely important. Just it looks like we're probably going to be leaning on our passing game this game. I would love if K9 and Charbonnet can prove me wrong and get started, but with us being 17th in the league with rushing yards per game at least, I'm not 100% confident in that. But we're going to have to see. It's going to be interesting. I think this game it's going to be a good one. I'm not going to sit here and make some crazy, this is going to be a blowout kind of game or anything like that, or a defensive slugfest, if you will. But I do think that this is going to be a good game, 100%. Something I want to highlight real quick, looking specifically at some specific player stats, some matchups to keep an eye on, or not matchups, but just kind of comparisons. Sam Darnold on the year has 9 touchdowns, 38 interceptions on 68 attempts. He has a completion rating of 73.1. Trevor Lawrence, on the other hand, is only 6 for 5 with 60.4 completion rating. So again, where he's getting his flowers, is with his legs. Sam Darnold, I think, is a more elite passer. Trevor Lawrence can move a little more than he can now. That being said, Sam Darnold is no slouch when it comes to rushing, so don't count him out on that. So, taking a second to compare their receivers real quick. Jackson Smith and Jigba, he's got 534 receiving yards already on the season on 34 receptions for 2 touchdowns and an average of 15.71. Brian Thomas Jr., who is the Jaguars wide receiver number 1, he's got 16 receptions for 244 and 15.25. So again, their rushing attack is where they really excel. So yeah, gonna be an interesting game. Some good matchups for sure. But Mitch, you got any points on this Jaguars game coming up?
Not really. I mean, they're going to be tough. That's pretty much all I got on that one. It's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
Defense, show up. Show up, please.
Please. I'm begging you. I'll get an Etsy witch, please.
But yeah, anyway, you ready to move on to some power rankings?
Hell yeah, let's do it. I have a feeling I'm not going to get a lot this week because I have a feeling the power rankings got pretty damn shaken up.
Yeah, because while it has been a roller coaster of a week for Seattle sports, it's honestly just been a roller coaster of a week for the NFL entirely.
Yeah. This is going to be fun.
Richard, who are the top 5 teams for the NFL Power Rankings according to Yahoo Sports' Frank Schwab?
I'm going to say Lions 1, Eagles 2, Bills 3, let's say let's say Colts 4 and Buccaneers move into spot 5.
Okay.
I feel confident on 3 of those teams.
So, you know ball, buddy.
What?
You got all 5 teams, not completely in the correct order, not yet, but you did get all top 5 teams.
I'll take it. Little dubs.
So, at number 1, you were actually completely correct. That is the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, it made sense because the Eagles and the Bills lost, Lions didn't, so it made sense that they would leapfrog.
Yeah, so the Lions are number 1. Your number 2 and 3 teams were actually just switched.
Damn.
The Bills are number 2. The Eagles are number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, your number 4 and 5 teams are switched. Buccaneers are 4th. Colts are 5th.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I will say, other than your 2nd and 3rd team, I do agree with where you had the Buccaneers and where you had the Colts. I think the Colts should be 4th and the Bucs should be 5th. Nothing against our Seahawks. I love our Seahawks, but I think the Colts had a better win than the Buccaneers did.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's my opinion. Frank Schwab clearly disagrees, but whatever. But yeah, you did at least have all 5 teams.
I'll take it.
You just had 2 and 3 flipped and 4 and 5 flipped.
Yeah.
So you did have it completely right on the number 1 team, the Lions. Frank Schwab had this to say. He said, every team has a loss now. There is no undefeated team in the NFL. And while the Lions' defeat in week 1 wasn't good, the last 4 weeks have been excellent. They've scored 52, 38, 34, and 37 points in the 4 wins. Given the Lions' recent track record and how they've rebounded since week 1, they deserve their turn at number 1 this season.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I would not disagree with that.
Now, this is where I will be shocked if you get... I'll be shocked if you get 2 teams. If you get
2?
1, I won't be so shocked. But if you get 2 out of these 3 bottom teams, I'll be shocked. So who are your bottom 3 teams? 30, 31, 32?
I think the Jets are 32. I think, no. Fuck it, let's put the Bengals at 30. Yeah, Bengals at 30. So who's my 31 team? For some reason, I always forget who to put in the bottom. I know the top 7, 8 teams, but all the bottom ones I'm I don't know, they just fucking jumble. Okay. 32 Jets, 31 Miami, and 30. Who did I say for 30? Let's go with the Bengals.
Okay. So, I'm shocked. You did get 2 of the bottom 3. 32, you have exactly right. It is the Jets.
Yeah. They are the only team without a win in the league, I think, right?
I believe, yes, they are. They are the only team without a win. They are 0-5. So they are 32. Mm-hmm. Their previous ranking was 30. And then you have the Dolphins in the bottom 3, just in the wrong spot. They are 30th. And then the 31st team, Tennessee Titans.
I wasn't really sure because the Titans did win their game. So I honestly wasn't sure, and the Bengals are just atrocious. The Bengals will be bottom 3 next week, I promise you. 'Cause I don't think Joe Flacco is going to move the needle for the Cincinnati Bengals.
I will let you know the Bengals are 26th. They were 26th last week. They didn't move.
They are way too high. The Bengals, they're trash, awful, horrible. The only shining spot on the Bengals is like Jamar Chase and whoever. I'm not good with national names. The D lineman who was holding out for a while. Hutchinson's on the lines. I don't remember. Anyway, they're going to be in the bottom 3 next week. I can almost guarantee you.
Fair enough. And then I do have to mention the Saints, who finally moved from the bottom 3 to 27th.
Woo! Let's go Saints! I'm so proud of you.
I did have to mention them real quick, but yeah, bottom 3: 32 Jets, 31 Titans, 30th Dolphins. Real quick, what he had to say about the Jets. There's only one winless team left. The Jets had no touchdowns through 3 quarters Sunday against one of the worst defenses in the NFL. It's getting worse, not better.
Yeah, it's not great for you, Jets. I'm sorry.
And I know I stopped talking about like every team we talk about, but I do have to say I have to read what he said about the Tennessee Titans just because it's kind of funny. The Titans have to be thrilled with Sunday's win, even if it was about as fluky as it gets. That's okay. A win's a win. For an 0-4 team, that should have been trailing 28-6 in the fourth quarter in Week 5. The Titans will have to play better, but one win takes a lot of the pressure off of them. Our last part of the power rankings are where are the Seahawks and where are the Jaguars?
I think the Seahawks are going to be 11. I think they're going to drop down, but not significantly. Because I think they were 8th last week or something like that.
Yeah, they were 8th. They were in the top 10.
The Jaguars, after beating the Chiefs, I'm going to say 12. Yeah, I think I think we're right neck and neck again. Seahawks 11, Jaguars 12.
Okay. Wrong.
Fuck.
Unfortunately.
I knew that. That one's so much harder.
Yeah, that one is. Unfortunately, Frank Schwab was not happy with our Seahawks and their loss. He dropped us from 8th all the way down to 14th.
Dude, what the fuck?
So before our win against the Cardinals, we were 14th. After our win against the Cardinals, we moved up to 8th. After our loss to the Buccaneers, we moved back to 14th.
Oh my god.
Schwab,
what are you doing, bro? Come on. Look at what you've done.
Now, I will say I did read what he had to say about the Seahawks earlier, and I kind of agree. Not so much with where he put us, but definitely with what he had to say about it.
Okay.
So what he had to say about the Seahawks was, the Seahawks have blown 2 winnable games at home this season. In the opener against the 49ers, and then Sunday against the Buccaneers. Sam Darnold continues to play quite well, but Seattle can't keep dropping games it should win if it wants to win the NFC West.
Yeah, I mean, 14 feels a little low.
Like I said, I
think
not agree
12,
with where he...
literally a 2-spot difference is fine, but 14
and it would have been perfect, 12th man and everything. But hey,
12th inning podcast?
Yeah, 12th inning podcast. But, so, while I don't agree with where he dropped us to, because I do feel like that's a little bit much, especially considering we almost won that game, and it was against a really good team.
Yeah.
Little drastic, but I do at least agree with what he had to say about it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And then where the Jaguars are.
So I said they were 12.
You did say they were 12th. They're 8th.
Okay.
They were 12th last week.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
They moved up 4 spots.
Damn.
And then what he had to say about the Jaguars. The Jaguars trailed 14-0 early and 28-24 with 1:45 to go against the reigning AFC champion Chiefs. It's not a game this franchise is used to winning. It's not a situation Trevor Lawrence has thrived in at that often either. maybe the Jaguars and Lawrence slayed some demons with the win.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. I mean, I think this game coming up is just as important for us as it is for them. So, yeah, all right. I mean, 14 feels a little low, but I think overall I can live with those power rankings.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, I don't agree with the spot he put us in because we dropped 6 spots for losing to a
insane.
good team by only 3 points.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. But hey, defense has got to play better. Let's get those spots back. But yeah, I think that's going to be all from me for the Seahawks portion. What about you, Mitch?
Yeah, that's all I got. Let's move on to the Mariners.
Let's go talk about your Seattle Mariners. So, when I'm saying it's a roller coaster of a week for Seattle sports, I mean it for the Seahawks as well. So last we talked, we didn't know who the Mariners were facing in the ALDS. We were waiting on the final game of the Cleveland Guardians Detroit Tigers series, and it was the Tigers, the team that I was afraid of facing because they had Tarek Skubal. So going into game 1 of the ALDS, this feels like the game you have to win because Tarek Skubal is going to be starting game 2, and you can almost chalk that one up to a guaranteed loss. George Kirby does great. He does amazing. George Kirby gets the start for the first game of the playoffs. That's a pretty big deal, honestly. That's a really big deal. He does great. However, the problem is there is a player on the Detroit Tigers who, going into that game facing George Kirby, was 4 for 8 against George Kirby in his career facing him. All 4 of those hits were home runs. So in about the 5th inning, George Kirby, he's pitching well, and he reaches that player, Kerry Carpenter, for the 3rd time through the order, which, if you don't know, is the notoriously bad time to be a pitcher when you're facing a batter for the 3rd time, because at that point, they usually have 1 or 2 things about you dialed in, and it's a lot harder to get them out, unless you're elite. So George Kirby is facing this guy, Kerry Carpenter, who is already someone who can see him very well, and it's the 3rd time through the order. Now, Dan Wilson keeps George Kirby in this game, and I knew it was going to happen. The guys that I was on a live stream with knew it was going to happen. Every single person in the stands knew that it was going to happen. Kerry Carpenter hit a home run off of George Kirby. It was a 2-run home run, tied the game up 2-2. Yeah, the offense did nothing. Like, the offense did absolutely nothing in this game. Your offense was carried by Cal Raleigh and Julio. They were literally the only people to get a hit in game 1. It was actually awful. Great to see those 2 guys come through. Like, those are your superstars. Those are the guys that you want being your offense. But, you know, you got 7 other guys that are in the lineup you'd like if one of them get a hit. But no, it was just Julio, just Cal. Yeah, you end up losing this game 3-2 after another terrible decision by Dan Wilson to leave Carlos Vargas in there too long when he was already having command issues. And you lose the game that you kind of felt you needed to win because, oh, great, now you get to go into game 2 facing Tarek Skubal, who is likely going to be the American League Cy Young winner. Vibes are at an all-time low. A lot of people are saying the series is over. Kiss the season goodbye, things like that, which for me was a little too dramatic, frankly. Like, it didn't feel great to lose game 1, don't get me wrong, but I'm also not over here saying the series is over. However, I would have been saying the series was over if you lost the second game, because we had home field advantage. So first 2 games are in Seattle, third and fourth game, numbers are hard, are in Detroit, and then the last game, if it goes to a game 5, is in Seattle as well. So, yeah, if you lost game 2 and you go to game 3 down 2-0 in the division series, yeah, I'd probably be saying the series is over, because at that point you basically need a reverse sweep away. But baseball's funny sometimes, and the Seattle Mariners beat Tariq Skubal, and frankly, to be more specific, Jorge Polanco beat Tarek Skubal. Jorge Polanco had 2 home runs in Game 2. Off of the best pitcher in the American League. So, yeah, that happened. And then Julio hit a double. I don't think it was off Scooble. Julio hit a double.
No, that was in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
I did get to actually watch the 8th and 9th inning.
That's cool. Yeah, to score the Cal Raleigh. So you end up winning this game 3-2. So now the series is tied 1-1 going into Detroit today as of recording this. They went into Detroit and you win. In fact, you win 8-4. Offense showed up. Pitching was awesome. Logan Gilbert was throwing a great game. Dan made a great decision pulling him a little early because that's what you have to do in the playoffs. You have to be willing to pull your pitches early. It's funny. It's in the playoffs, you either need to be willing to let your pitchers go for fucking ever, like we discussed in the last episode with Tarek Skubal, or you need to be willing to pull your pitchers as soon as there's any sign of instability, because you just can't afford that in the playoffs. And yeah, Logan Gilbert pitched his ass off, gets pulled, I think it was like 4th inning, something like that, not too bad. Bullpen pitches great. Except for Caleb Ferguson, who I never want to see that man pitch in a Mariners uniform ever again. Caleb Ferguson was brought because you were winning this game. I think it was 8-0 or 8-2.
It was 8-2.
Yeah, going into the 9th inning. So you had a comfortable enough lead where, yeah, you don't need to throw in Munoz. You can throw in. You had a comfortable enough lead to where, yeah, you can throw in your not so leverage arm. You don't need to throw Munoz. But Caleb Ferguson shits the bed and makes it 8-4. The Tigers knocking on an opportunity to come back in. So you need Andres Munoz to come in. Senior Smoke closes it out. And suddenly we find ourselves with the Mariners leading the series 2-1. The next game being played, it's in Detroit, which, most people were like, playing away from home, you don't have the home field advantage. The Mariners swept Detroit in Detroit before the All-Star break. Offense looks like they might be alive, and we've got Bryce Miller, who's going to be starting, which he's been rocky this year, but he has gotten better, and he's actually been better on the road than he has been at home. And by the time you are listening to this episode, your Seattle Mariners will be locked in to the American League Championship. That is honestly what I think is going to happen. I think the Mariners are going to win this 4th game of the ALDS. If a Game 5 is necessary, that's scary because it'll be against Tarek Skubal at home. But we'll see. Vibes are good.
We'll be home. He won't be.
Right, yeah. Vibes are good. This team is leading the division series. They're knocking on the door of making the championship series for the first time since 2001. And if they do that, you got to win 4 more games, and then you make it to the World Series, man. Like that's where we're at this point. Is you win this game and you're still on the obviously you're on the fast track to make the World Series. Now, right now, it's looking like we're going to be facing the Toronto Blue Jays, which is scary. They were the best team in the American League. We were the 2nd best team in the American League, but they're winnable. That's a winnable game. We absolutely can beat them. The Yankees, we can beat whoever it is that we're facing, so long as we make that championship series. This team is playing like they deserve it, and frankly, they do. This team has played well enough to deserve it. They haven't fluked their way into this opportunity, like I've been saying, and it's nerve-wracking. Every start to a game, I'm getting butterflies, but God, it's exciting. It's exciting to watch playoff baseball. It's exciting to watch Julio come up in the moments when he needs to. Cal Raleigh hit a home run today. Everybody's going crazy. He hit a home run to a guy, the guy who caught the ball was wearing dump number 61 here on his shirt. Or I think it just said dump 61 here on his shirt, basically telling Cal Raleigh hit the home run here. And he did. And then, to make it even better, dude takes his shirt off, and then it says dump 62 here. Bro was prepared. This team is fun. Yes, game 1 was kind of a kick in the dick, frankly. But this team is a lot of fun. They're playing like they're a lot of fun. And, dude, I love watching Mariners baseball right now. I love watching Seahawks football right now. Even when the defense is Swiss cheese and we lose, it's just a lot of fun right now. This is a great, great time to be a Seattle sports fan. This is it's a good time in sports right now, I think, in general. MLB playoffs are in full swing. Hockey's coming back. If you're a fan, go Kraken. I don't think we'll really talk about the Kraken all that much on this show, but still love the Kraken. It is Seattle. And of course, the Seahawks are competitive. But anyway, getting off track, baseball. This team could very well be in the championship series by the time you're watching this video, which is really exciting to say because I believe it. And I don't think that I'm just huffing copium by saying that. I think that genuinely this team has that opportunity. But, yeah, that's enough for me on the Mariners. Mitch, you got anything?
I mean, my whole thing, basically just, I also believe that by the time I post this video, the Mariners will be in the championship. I do believe that it is going to be Toronto we'll be going up against. I'll also be honest, while Toronto and the Yankees both scary to go up against, yes, but I believe we can beat either one. I hope it is Toronto just because I don't like the Yankees. Fuck the Yankees. Who does?
Unless you're in New York.
So fuck the Yankees, and I also just
and fuck Aaron Judge. Cal Raleigh is MVP.
I also like the Blue Jays. I think they're a cool team. I don't want them moving any further than the championship series, but
no, definitely.
But I do want to face the Blue Jays also because I can't remember who told me, but Cal Raleigh likes hitting home runs in Toronto, so
that he does.
But yeah, and then so I hope it's that the Blue Jays are in the championship series. I believe the Mariners will be in the championship series. And then just quickly on the other side, I hope it's the Brewers and Dodgers in the championship series on the other side there. And
I think that's what it's looking like.
Yeah, they're both leading their series 2-0 right now. So,
whew.
Brewers are beating the Cubs 2-0, and Dodgers are beating Phillies 2-0. So, I hope it's those two in the championship series, and then I hope the Brewers just destroy the Dodgers, and it's Mariners Brewers World Series.
I would love to see it.
It's unfortunate Padres got kicked out already, but by the Cubs of all teams. But whatever. That's all I have on the playoffs.
Yeah, that's gonna do it for us here at the 12th Inning Podcast. A couple things, if you've watched it this far, if you could do all the podcasty things of liking, commenting especially, we'd really love to interact with you guys in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. Subscribing, liking, commenting, rating, all that stuff. Check us out on TikTok. We're finally up on TikTok now. Same thing with Twitter, or X if you're a degenerate and call it that. It will forever and always be Twitter. Go fuck yourself. So we are finally on those, so if you'd like to interact with us a bit more daily, I will be trying to post some more regular content on the TikTok side of things, just because I know that there's a lot that happens, especially since we're covering two different sports. There's a lot that happens in between our episodes. But drop us a follow on those socials if you're at all interested. Subscribe, like, all that stuff. But thank you guys so much for watching the 6th episode of the 12th Inning Podcast. And Trident's up. Go Mariners.
Go Hawks.